Hey, and welcome to another week of Libertarians at Large. My name is Eric Rautzep, and this is where we discuss the week in news and express a libertarian point of view on the ongoings in our nation and abroad. We welcome your comments and your questions in the chat box, so feel free to comment regularly. We may share your comments on the air. This week, I'm joined with my fellow at-large members, Valerie Sarwak and Laura Ebke. How are you ladies doing?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. And our special guest this week is Michelle MacCutcheon, the Libertarian Party Activism Coordinator. How are you doing?
I am doing well, thank you, Eric. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I know it's our pleasure for sure. So what's going on at National? I mean, I know there's a lot going on with activism and it's busy days over there. So what are the highlights?
Halfway through regional training. So
I was an attender. I attended the one in Virginia. That was awesome.
We have next up is Iowa, and then we go to Shreveport, and then we skip a week, and then we go to Atlantic City, and then our last one is in Indianapolis, and it's the only one I'm close enough to not have to fly to. So
I'll see you in Atlantic City.
Yay! I get to see Valerie finally.
I'm trying to swing Atlantic City myself, so because I
need good places to eat. This is the advantage of traveling with our amazing candidate recruitment specialist, Kara Schultz, because she is a pro at locating the good places to eat.
And Elizabeth will be joining you in Indy.
Woo woo! So the food is great. The 50th was phenomenal, as you know. And I got to see Valerie's husband, Nick. I was actually swimming in a lake with Nick and our Georgia chair, Ryan Graham. I don't think many people can say that. So there you go.
I was there, but I was not
about that. My big project right now, in addition to all the regional trainings, because I would like to say I'm the only one doing all 8. And I'm going to be really tired by the time these are done. Travel is not for old people. This much. But is the Wyoming Set Free America project. And yes. Wyoming right now is working on 2 ballot initiatives. One for medical marijuana and one for decriminalization for marijuana. And surprisingly enough, even though Wyoming is a very red state, they polled 80% people are in favor of medical, and 72, I believe it was, are in favor of decriminalization. So both those petitions have finally been released from the Attorney General. This has been a several-month process, as you guys know, and they are gathering signatures now, but they literally were just started yesterday. So we're training up our county captains, and the big launches are in 6 cities around Wyoming on Saturday. We have phone and text bankers from volunteers from all around the country, from about, I think I'm up to 24 different states are represented in our volunteer team. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I have like 10 more people to call that all came in this afternoon and tonight since we've been on this call.
That's
so
great.
I'm really excited about this, but there's one question I kind of want to rewind and address. It was before we started talking about Set America Free. It's a question from Betsy. What is regional training?
So regional training has been described as campaign and affiliate 101. We will offer more in-depth training at our national convention in Reno, 2022, Memorial Day weekend. Get your tickets. Early bird ends in 4 days.
Yes.
And
that's at lnc2020.com.
2022.
Oh, 2022. Sorry, I don't know.
2020 messed us all up.
I really did. 2022, lnc2022.com. There you go.
But so in regional training, we have 2 campaign tracks you can choose, or 2 training tracks you can choose from. One is on campaign leadership, and one is on affiliate leadership. Though many of the skills do cross over, so the classes are combined for a few of the skill sets, many are very particular to like candidate messaging versus affiliate messaging, right? Oh, and look, there's Eric's certificate. He participated in Virginia Beach, which was one of the prettier areas I've been to. I really liked Long Beach too. And we were showing a great time by the group out there. And then Salt Lake with the mountains. Like, I'm getting to see like the entire United States. Forgot Atlanta. Atlanta was fun. Ryan Graham, though, is forever banned from picking places to go out to eat. We need to make a declaration somewhere. It's if he's watching now, he can absolutely appreciate why. He knows I told him to his face.
Well, Tara picked a phenomenal seafood restaurant while we were in Virginia Beach. I'm just going to say.
The one big one we were all at, or the different one that you guys went to?
The one you, Tara, myself, and...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal... Tara picked a great place with that one.
She can absolutely... So if you folks haven't figured out yet, libertarians love to bond over food. Most people do.
And drinks.
And drinks. I'm mostly a water girl until I go on these trainings, and then it's like I keep getting a frou-frou drink. Like I just don't drink that much now that I'm older. Like a beer on occasion on a really hot summer day, a really ice cold beer maybe, but it's so rare. I'm too busy working to drink.
I know how that is.
However, sometimes, work may drive you to drink. I'm very lucky in that I love this. But yes, you can get campaign training or affiliate leadership training. You will be certified. And with your permission, we have a release for you to sign. We will put your name and contact information up on our site so that when people need people that are trained up in these things, they have a list that they can go to. And this is something we've needed for a long time. And God love Kara Schultz for pulling this all off.
And you mentioned in Reno that you're going to start offering the 201 classes, because these are the 101 classes. But also, if you've been to one of these classes, you can also, according to Cara, she's they're talking about train the trainer classes there too. So now you can go teach the 101 classes as well. So I think that's really important too, because this isn't going to be national holding the keys to the kingdom. Mm-hmm. This is the development of the program and then rolling it out. So states can be running this and doing that. So I think that's one of the really exciting parts, is that it's all already built in. There's already a plan, a strategy to make sure that all of this information goes widespread throughout the Libertarian Party.
Absolutely. Many hands make light work. The more we can replicate all of this, the less that I have to do. My goal is to get so good at activism that I work myself out of a job. Tyler's already aware of this. My boss, if you don't know.
The candidate track, is it to help candidates, like to be a campaign manager, or is it for people who are going to be a candidate?
Actually, that is a great question, and it needs to be both. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we had at I think our first training, yes, Caitlin and I were teaching campaign basics and how you recruit and how you structure your campaign, mm-hmm. and things like that. Or Kara and I were teaching that. And then we came in with communications. And somebody in the audience who was a candidate said, well, if I say X, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And he said he was in charge. And I'm like, so no. Your campaign manager is the boss of you. And it was just funny how it played out, and everybody kind of laughed. But it really benefits the candidates that have come. Martha Bueno is one of the candidates who came, and she's like, oh my gosh, so much information. But then campaign managers, and we learn from other people too, like what's worked for them and what's not. And that helps. That kind of interaction after, a year and a half of things being more closed off and in some cases locked down has been invaluable for everyone in the room, me included. I learned something from everybody when we go. And people are finally taking me up on my offer to help them with their onboarding and their kind of welcome wagon teams in their states. So North Carolina already reached out. And actually, New Mexico. Renata Banks just reached out. So I have to set up something with her. But I really want people to do that, because the more of us that are doing it, the more we're able to absorb this exponential growth we're having by every measurable metric.
It's really great to see things happening at the affiliate and local levels. I mean, it's really exciting to see that happening, because really that's where it should start. You know, I mean, as libertarians, we want things as local as possible, and that's a great place to see real activity occurring. So thanks for what you're doing, Michelle.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Michelle froze on us. No, not Mama Mac. Oh,
Just what I said.
I'm back. Oh, thank you, Spectrum.
There you go. Jared would like to know when we can start cloning you.
Who wants to know if they can clone me?
Jared Hall.
Well, it would be nice, because I'm blanking all day. Can my clone cover tomorrow so I can get the dogs to the vet? But
Well, I don't know if we can get that up and running yet, but hey, maybe a month or down the road here.
I am very excited about the Set America Free project. Obviously, with some recent news today, I'm going to have another big thing on my plate that I got to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
Right. Luckily, we have an amazing comms director who has a background in activism as well. So
Wild Bill asked a question a little while ago. Do you believe that marijuana, or the legalization of marijuana, might actually help with the fentanyl problem that the United States is currently experiencing?
First of all, I'm not a medical professional, but in my opinion, whenever we legalize or decriminalize, wherever they've done that in places, it seems to be the quality seems to increase, so there'll be less spiking of those drugs and less danger for the people involved when you take something off the black market. Even though as libertarians, we like our black markets, having readily accessible stuff, especially if they let home grow happen and all that, and you're just growing it in your backyard and drying your own stuff and smoking it, and you're not going to have to be afraid of other drugs. And if something, especially this particular plant, is available so readily, then I don't think we'll have other harder things that could cause much harm to people that are, more prevalent. I think they would go down for all sorts of things, right? Potentially heroin, right? Because that's a lot of where people go after getting a pain pill addiction, or not being able to get pain pills because the opioid market is so restricted by the government. So,
preliminary data from Maine clearly shows that marijuana can be very successfully used as an exit drug. That's, I mean, there's already starting to have preliminary data coming out of Maine that, it's helping with heroin addiction and potentially fentanyl as well. So I think that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So we've kind of beat around the bush. You've already said that tomorrow is going to be a hectic day for you. Do you want to discuss that at all with the Biden announcement today?
Initially it's going to be more hectic for our communications director. But I need to come up with an action plan on my back end, knowing what the kind of bullet points are of what she's looking to do.
So if we take off the LP hat and we just put on "I'm Michelle MacCutcheon," what's your personal opinion on Biden's announcement today?
It wouldn't be very professional of me to curse, we
are a wholesome show.
A stream of curse words. Insert them here. I would like 5 minutes alone with the man to sit down and attempt to talk some sense into him.
5 minutes? That's it? I
can talk quickly. He's gonna have the mom finger in his face yelling at him. there's so many levels this is wrong. First of all, good ideas don't require force. Mm-hmm. That is how we roll, right? Whether it's government force or I'm forcing Valerie to take her kids to the park every day. I don't know. It is inherently wrong. And I know we have pro-life members and I appreciate them. But one of the things I have said for my personal messaging, just talking person to person, as long as I know my audience, is we're pro-choice on everything, mm-hmm. right? Because even our pro-life members don't want the government involved.
Right.
Unfortunately, my town has the same law Texas has. We got it 5 weeks ago. Oof. Lucky us. Yay.
Well, and then look at Mexico and look at what they did on, what was it, Monday? Or was it? I heard about it on Monday.
I honestly did not know that marijuana was not legal in Mexico. And I was waiting for somebody to pick up a volunteer to pick up their phone and was scrolling Facebook and saw that. And I'm like, what? I always thought it was legal there.
Mexico, the official religion is Catholicism. Mm-hmm. So, and that is a state religion. So that is the accepted religion of Mexico. But you were just talking about abortion and pro-choice on everything. Mexico came out with a statement that it says that it would be unconstitutional to ever make abortion illegal in Mexico.
Oh, I saw the weed thing. I didn't see that.
Oh no, this came out at the end of last week, the beginning of this week. I know I saw it on Monday, so it may have taken a day or two for me to get it. But
I need that statement for a few people, please.
Yeah, so here's a Catholic nation saying that it is unconstitutional in Mexico to ever make abortion illegal. So,
why can't a cold country try to be that free? I don't like hot weather. Iceland. I guess I'm going to Iceland. But
Iceland has its own problems. I love Iceland. Absolutely,
everybody's got their own problems. I mean, there is no utopia.
We need a libertarian island.
Well,
but you know what? It would be inhabited by people.
Yeah, right.
And sooner or later it would. Yeah,
I know
being what they are.
People will people.
Yeah, so let's test your Greek, Laura. What does utopia mean?
I don't know.
An impossible place.
Impossible dream to dream the impossible dream. Shall we sing?
Yeah.
Oh, Hannibal yes.
That's exactly what utopia means in Greek. It's an impossible place.
Okay, Laura. Now we have karaoke for you and I in Reno. We're singing Hannibal Mancha.
I avoid karaoke typically, but I'm going to need lots of Louisville lips in order to do that.
I'm already singing What Is This Feeling with Paige Sexton.
Okay.
So,
I have to find out when this karaoke contest is because I'm just going to sit in the back and enjoy.
You will totally laugh at me. I'm a ridiculous singer. Of the trifecta of singing, dancing, and acting, singing is my weak point. I love acting. I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at dancing. I'm way out of practice right now on that, but like riding a bike, right?
I can't sing to save my life. If anyone ever heard me sing, they would go running for the hills and think that I am trying to destroy humanity. It's
no. My choir director told me I should never sing and that I can only sing flat, and told me to mouth watermelon in choir. I mean, it was my same church that we got married at years later, and they made me have her be my organist because she was under contract. I offered to pay her not to show up because she was so mean. Who says that to a little 13-year-old? She's just a nasty woman. And I could not get her out of my wedding. It was not cool. I already had an organist and who was a vocalist who was phenomenal. But
we'll just leave it at this. Colanders carry water better than I can sing.
If I can learn to sing properly, anyone can. I'm telling you, I can help you. There's a couple little tricks. Smoking does not help. You have to suck on a lemon because smoking makes your voice go flat.
Yeah, no, there are no live hills. There are no live hills when I sing. Yeah.
I hate to cut the fun, but let's keep talking about the masks because this is like a huge deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So no more mandates. You need to go to alreadyagainsthenextmandate.com.
Yep.
And what will that get you?
That will get you in the loop with activism and communications and action items. We are going to start looping those folks in and kind of morphing our Tuesday night 8 o'clock member welcome hangout to include those folks and to teach them some activism things that they can do in those meetings. So Larissa and I are going to work together on those. And we are going to turn our nation into a nation of activists.
Very good.
There you go.
Yeah, I've already noticed like people, I'm in New Hampshire, people here are already taking personal responsibility. I feel comfortable not wearing a mask because I'm vaccinated, but I know other people are vaccinated or not vaccinated and are choosing to wear a mask in public places like Costco or I actually was in Whole Foods and I thought that they changed the rules of the Whole Foods because so many people had a mask on. And I asked the cashier and she said, no, it's just like, it's up to you. And I said, isn't that crazy that like 70% of the store is wearing a mask? And we had to have a mandate to tell people to do that before. But if you just let people make the choice they want to make, they're going to make the choice that's best for them. This new mandate or potential mandate is bananas.
Well, someone else said it perfectly. This is weaponizing OSHA to destroy businesses in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the OSHA penalties are compounded, so you could be paying tens of thousands of dollars because one of your employees decided not to get a vaccine. And why is it the business's fault? Why does the business have to pay for the personal decision of one of their employees? It's absolutely ridiculous. This needs to be done away with, and this entire thing is wrong.
Right. And Jared made a good point earlier about how many people are going to get fired and or laid off so that the companies have less than 100 people. And that's destroying livelihoods again. That's not even just a business. That's
right. I mean, I can make you a contractor, right? Kara, actually, I saw Kara say that right away, is that, if I have 102 to 105 employees, I'm going to lay off enough to come under the 100 and then just hire in contractors, whether or not it's the same person or not.
Right.
Because then it's not trackable per se. But if they're working on site, I think they could still nab you. They could still count that in their number if they really wanted to be jerks about it. You would have to take them to court to say, well, these weren't employees, they were contractors. I think I feel like if you weaponize OSHA to that point, that they will push that particular issue.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the messaging that is going to be coming out about this from us.
So Jared posted that it's a $14,000 per violation. However, and that's accurate. Violations start at $13,653 per violation. However, if they decide that it is willful or repeated, the penalties can go up to $136,532 per violation.
Jeez.
So, yeah. So this is anywhere between $14,000 and basically $140,000.
Because finding people $14,000 is keeping somebody safer.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. This is all about safety. Right.
Never in the history of humankind has banning or enforcing something like this ever led to saving lives.
No.
But boy, the government's going to get frickin' rich.
Oh, yeah.
Can't they just print more money like they always do? I mean, seriously.
But, I mean, how many businesses are going to go out of business now because of this?
Or just have to flat out fire their people amid tears. Like, I don't want to fire you, but I can't afford to keep you and run that risk.
Exactly. So, I mean, people are going to be out of work.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses are going to be strapped. We're already in a labor shortage in this country because people have been retooled and got new jobs and all of that. So all the traditional jobs find shortages. This is just going to make everything worse. This is going to compound everything ridiculously.
And then we're restricting immigration, so we can't fill any jobs. I mean, jobs sit posted forever. Now, I will say I had a struggle being older, right, and trying to get back into HR and recruiting after leaving a company I helped start. It did not necessarily meet with, like, I interviewed well on the phone, and then they met me in person and saw me and could tell I was older, even though I've, like, taken out, like, the back stuff on my resume to try to keep it shorter. And those jobs, every single one of those jobs has been posted for months again. Like, oh, I guess you should have hired me. Too late now.
Yeah. Right.
This is the weirdest labor market ever. As a recruiter, that was like my jam, and I watched that stuff. And I've not been able to predict any of the stuff over the last 6 or 7 months. Like, it's just, I don't get it anymore.
So the Department of Labor put out that there are currently 2.1 million job openings in the United States, which is a new record in the history of the United States. 2.1 million open jobs right now.
I believe
we could get into my area of the world and say, let's get rid of occupational licensing. That would help with some of those things.
Yes.
You know,
and that's from someone I'm applauding, and I'm someone who actually, I just did my recertification, continuing education credits for my occupational license. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It actually holds people out of the industry.
Yep. Well, and every state has their own little, you know, I mean, Nebraska has a really big job shortage or worker shortage right now, and really low unemployment. So we don't have bodies even to take the jobs, but we can't attract people, you know, tradespeople and others from around the country because our licensing requirements are so high that it's just a pain. If you're coming from a state that has one license and you're, you know, coming to a new state, those licenses don't transfer. Every state has their own little rules, and so unless you happen to be a state that has reciprocity, it's almost impossible to come in and, you know, trade straight across.
Yeah. Ohio's got really bad licensing laws too, which I'm sure you know from your work.
Yep.
I see a shortage in, like, fast food, customer service based jobs. It's very easy to see the behind the scenes jobs. You know, you can't really see where they're short till businesses start saying we're closing.
Yeah. Well, you know, traveling this last week or so for a couple of different things, we saw a ton of businesses that were closed, or fast food places that, you know, we stopped at a couple of fast food places on our way back from Louisville the other day, and you know, they were closed in the dining room. You could go through a drive-through, but the drive-through was snaked all, and it was because they didn't have enough bodies to run both the drive-through, you know, the kitchen and the drive-through and the front.
Yeah.
So they were just keeping them closed.
That's that when I went to leave for LAX about 4 weeks ago, I was taking a flight that didn't leave till 6:30 Eastern and wasn't landing till, or maybe it was 9:30. I was landing at 11, almost midnight their time, Pacific. So I was like, I need to eat on my way, right? Because you're leaving at like 6 to get, you know, hour and change to get to the airport, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'll just run through and get Arby's. Boy, doesn't a super and a nice orange shake sound fabulous. The entire Arby's was closed. So right in a row, there's Arby's, and I don't even have to go out to the main drag. I just cut through each parking lot. And then is Taco Bell. And they had like 10 people in line. I'm like, well, I don't have that much time before I need to be at the airport. So I'll do Burger King, which was the third one. And there was like 2 cars in the lot. but one was like a truck that was parked across like 4 spaces and clearly wasn't anybody that was in the building. So I went to Burger King and their doors were all locked. So I went through the drive-through and it literally was one manager and he is the only one running. So whenever they get like a DoorDash order or whatever, he has to personally close the store and go take it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
So we had one closed, one open off and on. And he's like, oh, that's weird because Taco Bell was closed yesterday. I'm like, nope, today it's Arby's.
Oh my gosh.
And people are yelling at him, and I'm like, dude, I appreciate the heck out of you. I'd be really hungry because I was flying Allegiant, so there was no food or anything.
Right.
Well,
I love.
Oh,
Yeah, John points out the food service labor. Sherry points out the silliness of a librarian's license. You know, she had to have a librarian's license. I've heard this story several times, despite having experience. She needs a license to give callers phone numbers or the weather in Swayze. You know, and so that's, you know, there are some ridiculous licenses out there for sure.
Well, and the reason I brought up John's comment was that it's not just the food service labor. If you drive the highways in North Carolina and you go up to road construction, it'll say, you know, merge left in 300 feet, and then it flashes, and then it says, now hiring, flash, and it says, job starting at $30 an hour.
Wow.
Flash, merge left 300 feet, you know. So it's
let's all go to North Carolina and make $30 an hour.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to work in road construction, North Carolina is hiring, and there's a labor shortage everywhere. You look at truck drivers, you look at construction, everywhere you go, there are jobs out there, and they're advertising hard. I mean, it's not just food service, it's not just retail, it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the road issue must be kind of widespread around the country because I've done a lot of driving the last month or so, and lots of places that say that there's road construction going on where there's nobody to be seen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
I've seen that around here too. It's like this road will be closed from 9 p.m. or 11 p.m. to whatever, and it never was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus the impending giant inflation problem we're about to have.
Right.
It's all good and great right now, isn't it?
Yeah, your dollar's gonna be worth 50 cents, right? Or 33 cents. It was a third of the money in existence was printed last year. And hey, the current administration's gonna even top the big spending of Trump.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Which seems almost impossible to get your brain around.
Yeah.
But do you know what time it is?
Oh, is it quiz time?
It's quiz time! And the quiz is brought to us by the Washington Weekly on PBS. PBS completely funded by private donors and not by the federal government. Even though the federal government says they give money to PBS, it actually doesn't go there. Yay! Okay. Yep. Look at the FCC. It's actually really interesting. They have millions of dollars earmarked for PBS, but it's actually reserving the rights through the FCC for their airspace, so they don't have to pay for airspace, but almost none of those dollars actually go to any PBS stations.
Oh,
really interesting. Shortly after the Taliban claimed to have taken full control of Afghanistan, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken traveled to Afghanistan, Pakistan, or Qatar?
I know where Kamala Harris went, but I'm going to guess Qatar. I have no idea if that's right.
I agree with you. I agree Qatar.
What do our folks say?
I think
We've got
so.
two
Other people
Qatar.
did. Yeah.
So we're going Qatar?
Yep.
To do it.
And correct.
Good job, Michelle.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin have met in Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and the other top Qatar officials in Doha for talks on Afghanistan shortly after the Taliban claimed to have taken full control of the country. Rather interesting.
I would not want to be one of the leaders right next to Afghanistan. That's got to be super stressful job right now.
It's got to be scary. It's really got to be scary. But we destabilized Afghanistan during the Soviet attempted occupation.
Mm-hmm.
So are we really surprised that when we try pulling the same trick, that they just used our education against us? I mean,
none of this was surprising, and all of it was avoidable.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. 100%. On Tuesday, the Taliban crushed a peaceful protest on LGBTQ rights, voting rights, or women's rights.
All of the above?
Women's
I
rights.
was thinking women's, but
I'm thinking women's rights too. Because
I'll go with women's, because I don't feel like they're to the level of voting rights or LGBTQ representation and rights.
Yeah, I think LGBTQ is so far down the road that they're not even focused on it. And how do you even hold an actual election in Afghanistan?
We took over. Please
So
vote
wait, is this Texas Taliban or the actual Taliban?
The actual Taliban. The one where, the polling place would be the second tin hut. I mean, the living conditions are so rough in Afghanistan. It's mind-boggling. I mean, you take the lowest form of poverty you have ever seen here in the United States and decrease that by about 150 levels, and then that's when you get to the median population of Afghanistan. I mean, it's painful. But I'm saying women's rights. I think we are all saying women's rights.
Yeah.
And that's correct. Despite the threat of violent beatings and retaliation, hundreds of women marched in the streets of Kabul on Tuesday morning, according to the New York Times. The women called for the Taliban to respect their rights and make it clear that they would not easily surrender the gains made over the past 2 decades. During the protest, witness said the Taliban started beating protesters with rifle butts and sticks, and the crowd scattered after fighters began firing into the air. Have you heard about what the Taliban is making the universities do in Afghanistan?
Mm-mm.
So if women are enrolled in that class, women have to be held to the side, allow all the men to enter into the classroom, then screens need to be erected. The women can come in on the other side of the screen. Mind you, class has already started at this point. So class is going in, then the women come in, and then approximately 15 minutes before the class ends, all the women have to exit, the screens are taken down, and then by then the class will be actually over, and the men will be allowed to leave. So, yes, the Taliban is still letting all of the women go to college, but they're taking away the first 15 and last 15 minutes of every single class. How do you expect? I mean, I don't know about you, but my average class in college was about an hour long.
Yeah.
So
50 minutes.
half
50
the
to 50
class
50 minutes, right.
every single time because you have to do this screen dance thing. I don't get it.
That's not separate and equal at all.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. And this is the Taliban saying, look at how wonderful we are. We are still letting women get their education. No, you're not.
We need
It's just, yeah. Okay. Never mind. Okay. This week, which country became the first in the world to accept Bitcoin as a legal currency?
Ecuador.
Ecuador. No.
El Salvador.
El Salvador. There you go.
Oh, sorry.
One of those.
It's really hard to read.
El Salvador. According to Yahoo News, El Salvador is officially the first country in the world to accept Bitcoin as a legal currency. CNBC reports Central America's nation's Bitcoin law took effect on September 7th, allowing Salvadorians to use the cryptocurrency in physical and online shops.
It's pretty crazy.
Absolutely. I love this. I absolutely love this. I think
And they gave them each $30 worth of Bitcoin, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you were in El Salvador and you opened up a new wallet in the last X amount of time, they actually gave you $30 US worth of Bitcoin for opening up the wallet. So yeah, it was actually really interesting, and it is actually the first nation to have their own digital wallets. So I thought that was kind of interesting too.
It's very cool. Very interesting, especially because it's El Salvador.
Yeah.
It's like drug ravished crime everywhere, but like leading in cryptocurrency. Crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I think it's going to be a lot of the smaller countries that don't have a stable economy or a stable financial unit, not necessarily their economy, but their financial unit itself. I think you're going to see a lot of those countries actually migrate over to this far earlier than anybody else. So,
does that mean my Zimbabwe $50,000? Is it Zimbabwe? Which one has like the $50,000 bills and it's like worth several cents?
It might be Zimbabwe. I think that is one of them.
So maybe that'll become actually worthless.
Or if you get over to the Zimbabwe consulate, maybe you could trade it in for some Bitcoin.
They're like, here's 0.00001 Bitcoin for you, ma'am.
More than 200 top medical journalists warn that the greatest threat to public health is terrorism, climate change, or the COVID-19 pandemic.
I feel like climate change was mentioned, I think, last week.
Yeah, I'll go with climate change too. COVID seems like too much of a gimme, so it's probably wrong.
I have to say, though, Daniel has a good suggestion that it may actually be the
media. Yeah.
But, you know, I think it is climate change, and that's what we're all agreeing on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is.
Hey.
According to NPR, the rapidly warming climate is the greatest threat to public health. It is an unprecedented joint statement. More than 200 medical journals are warning world leaders to cut heat-trapping emissions to avoid catastrophic harm to health that will be impossible to reverse. You know, I mean, I think we're past the point where we can say that global warming is real. It's really happening. I think it's pretty evident that at least partially that humans are to blame on this. I think governments getting involved, though, are ridiculous.
Right.
The number one polluter in the United States is the United States Navy.
Right.
The United States Navy is the largest polluter in the entire country and actually is cumulative of most industries all put together. And you're having these people, you're having the number one polluter say, everyone else, you've got to abide by these rules. But you know, this is defense, and we'll get there, but yeah, eventually.
They're like, don't use your aerosol hairspray. We're going to just dump some sludge into the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not a big supporter of governments actually doing this stuff because I think that's absolutely ridiculous when they're the ones with their hands stuck in the cookie jar.
Right.
And then they try telling, well, our hands are in the cookie jar, but the reason it is because we don't want your hands in the cookie jar. Really? Come on.
Right. And, you know, one of Michelle's state residents, Chrissy Wickers, she does a lot with environmental policy. And she's like, the EPA has been around for, 30, 40 years, and they have not done anything to help at all. Like they could have, at this point, designed biodegradable plates, you know, or whatever, like something, but have literally done nothing. And
so
we're just in the way.
Most of your EPA regulations were written in the 80s and 90s. Yep. So most of your EPA regulations are 25 to 35 years old.
Stupid.
Technology has so far bypassed them that actually in North Carolina, the proper disposal method for tires is burning.
The old tire fire.
Yeah. So
that's not toxic at all.
Exactly. Oh no, it's perfectly fine for the environment. This is what North Carolina Division of the Environmental Protection actually wants you to do, because that's the best solution. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God.
So yeah, no, don't even. The courts are, yes. There was a point in time that the EPA may have been a good idea, probably for about 15 minutes. And they've already proven that they're so far behind the barrel that it's gone.
That's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually, Steven says burn pits that's how the military does everything.
Oh my.
So yeah, exactly. It's just, we need to go back to a judicial system. Now we have legal precedent, and that's the best way to protect our environment. Go back to our courts, scrap the EPA, and just forget it. But I'll get off my high horse. I'm sorry. I bring out that soapbox at least once every single show.
Well, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go throw my car battery in the ocean. So.
Oh, Ian Pink will be so proud.
The Supreme Court issued a ruling this week that decriminalized abortion. Oh, we talked about this.
That was Mexico, right?
We always end up talking about that.
I know. There's always something. Okay, so according to the New York Times on Tuesday, so it was Tuesday this week, or Tuesday last week, Mexico's Supreme Court ruled that criminalizing abortion is unconstitutional. The decision sets the precedent that could lead to legalization of the procedure across this conservative Catholic country of about 130 million people. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, by the way, I read a little bit of the translated statement from the Supreme Court. Actually, really compassionate, really amazing. If you have the moment and you're interested, read it.
Will do. Thank you.
Joe Biden is the very first lady to lobby for environmental protection, work at a full-time job outside of the White House, or be elected to public office.
I think she's still teaching.
She's still teaching, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds right to me
We
too.
could have had another one that was still teaching.
Yep. After months of teaching, writing, and English online to community college students, the First Lady resumes teaching in person on Tuesday at Northern Virginia Community College, where she has worked since 2009.
I wonder which branch. I took 2 accounting classes there one summer between my sophomore and junior year of regular college. I don't know what she teaches.
She teaches education.
Oh, yeah.
She's an education. Yeah.
She didn't teach me no accounting. Neither
No,
did the teacher I had.
Yeah, I mean, it even said that she teaches English and writing. So
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
no, it's fine.
But she's got a doctorate in education. I thought she was a teacher.
Yeah.
Maybe. On Tuesday, which state governor signed a bill that creates strict new voting laws? Florida, Alabama, or Texas?
Wasn't it also Texas on that too?
I'm going to say Texas because
Yeah.
I feel like when you bring down the heavy hand of the state, you like to double up, right?
I'm pretty sure it was Texas, although it could have been Florida.
Yeah, no, Darby, Daniel, everyone's saying Texas. It's Texas. According to the Washington Post on Tuesday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed into law a bill that creates strict new voting rules in the state, ending a month-long effort by Democrats to stall the legislation by denying Republicans a quorum in the House. But the law already faces at least 5 challenges in state and federal courts, with dozens of organizations and individuals suing to Texas GOP leaders and local elections officials. Let people vote.
And what was part of this, though, that law that was seeking to restrict minor party ballot access?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's also be honest. The Democrats are pushing through a potential restriction in the House, which is the voting law. It was HR 1. Forget what the number is in the Senate. It doesn't physically restrict, but the entire bill only mentions Republicans and Democrats and never mentions the ability to have a third party and may create the legal precedent that those are the only two parties. Sorry. So, yeah. It's really tricky. There's some interesting constitutional lawyers and other individuals who are fighting it, and it's just the wording. It's really, really bad. That's another story.
Well, I always say they don't want two parties; they just want one party, and they're very close to getting that.
Well, and HR 1 actually says, the two parties, Republican, Democrat. It outlines it quite a few times that these are the two parties. So, it's interesting. Select all that apply. The CDC added which of the following countries this week to their level 4 very high risk COVID-19 travel risk list. Sri Lanka, Jamaica, or New Zealand, or New Zealand. I'm not entirely sure on this one.
Well, it can't be New Zealand because they're like, if they get one case, they shut the whole thing down.
Yeah. So it's probably Sri Lanka and Jamaica.
Sri Lanka's like right next to India. India's having some other new variant now.
Yeah, they have the one that starts with an M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say New Zealand and Sri Lanka.
I'm going to say Sri Lanka and Jamaica.
I agree with you, Eric.
Laura?
Yeah, I don't feel like New Zealand is in the mix. I think Sri Lanka is. I don't know about Jamaica.
Oh, there we go.
Sri Lanka and Jamaica. According to CNN, two tropical islands half a world apart, popular with tourists, Jamaica in the Caribbean and Sri Lanka in the South Asia, are now among the highest risk destinations for travelers. People should avoid traveling to locations designated with the level 4 COVID very high notice on the CDC recommendations. Again, yes, it's nice to know that there's a problem in these countries.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me if I can or cannot go there. I'm an
Right.
Let me make my own decisions. I mean, yeah, give me the information. I appreciate you giving me the information. I appreciate you quantifying the information for me. Don't tell me what I can and cannot do.
Well, so here's the question, though. I mean, if you go to those countries knowing that it's a high level of risk, potentially, what is the obligation in terms of letting you come back without any sort of quarantine? I mean, that if you're going to Sri Lanka or wherever it is where they've got the M variant, and we haven't seen any of it in the United States, then what?
Or if you're going to somewhere, Venezuela is like very unstable and unsafe right now. If you go and get hurt or imprisoned, I think at that point, if you're saying I'm going to go, having the government say you can't go is different than saying, okay, if you go, like, good luck, you're on your own. I think it's kind of the same thing.
And Cam and Steven, that was the first half hour that we actually discussed quite a bit of the Biden announcement. So appreciate the comments, but that was earlier parts. So after this gets posted in its entirety on YouTube and Facebook, I would highly recommend reviewing after that gets posted. So thank you for your comments, though.
Whole first half hour.
Well, not the whole first half hour, but we definitely addressed it.
We talked about regional training and
Wyoming
marijuana stuff too, and food.
Yep, and food. Yeah. Which cabinet-level department vowed that they would protect women in Texas who are seeking an abortion? Justice, Health and Human Services, or Education?
Probably Health and Human Services.
I think it's
Justice. I think Justice filed suit, didn't they? Or they filed an appeal in the U.S. Supreme Court. There was something today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Justice Department.
I don't know, but I need them to help me in Lebanon. Can they go down to the city level?
So
Supreme Court.
Are we saying Justice or Health and Human Services?
I think it was Justice.
I'm fairly certain it's going to be Justice because it's entirely a legal fight at this point. So
yeah, that would make sense.
justice.
Nice.
Are we going to get 10 out of 10?
We may.
I just jinxed it. Don't worry.
According to the Washington Post, the Justice Department is exploring all options to challenge Texas's restrictive abortion law. Attorney General Merrick Garland said he vowed to provide support to abortion clinics that are under attack in the state and protect those seeking and providing reproductive health services. Last question. Tennis star Naomi Osaka announced this week that she is taking a leave from the game. Why did she say that she's taking a break? Maternity leave, struggling to find joy in playing, or a recurring knee injury?
Oh, God.
I have no idea. I don't follow
I think I heard something about a recurring knee injury, but I may be wrong. Somebody. Oh, no, that might have been somebody else.
I'm thinking this is along the lines of the Simone Biles thing, and this is that there's a psychological and not finding joy, because there a number of high-profile athletes have now said that they suffer depression and they should stop playing for a little while.
Williams
well, and you know, it
some
wouldn't
sort of an injury.
It wouldn't make as big of a news splash to make this quiz if it was a knee for a tennis player.
Right.
Yeah. That is a very good point, Michelle. A knee injury would not be part of this, but if it was Simone Biles coattails, I think it would. So
Correct.
I'm feeling struggling to find joy in playing.
Lack of joy.
I mean, it's been a year of not finding joy in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that what we're going with?
Yeah.
That's right.
We won.
We
According to the
won.
New York Times on Friday, Naomi Osaka announced that she'd be taking an indefinite break from tennis as she's struggling to find meaning and joy from playing. And we got 100 this week.
Yay.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was actually a really fun one. So we got a few minutes. Anything to wrap up? Any announcements to make?
Go sign up at alreadyagansthenextmandate.com so that you can keep up to date with activism and action items and know what's going on with more restrictive mandates throughout the country. Watch for more stuff to come out in the next day or so. If you are interested in volunteering, you can click the volunteer link at LPO and I will call you and we will find out where to hook you in. You do not have to be a party member to help. We welcome your services. And if you have questions about the LP, you can find me on the staff page from lp.org. And I'm happy to have that conversation. I convinced 4 people had questions and I got 4 new members in the last 2 days just from questions. So
Good job. Good work.
Awesome.
Valerie, how is the affiliate support group doing?
Affiliate support exceeded our goal of helping 50 new affiliates by helping 62 new affiliates. But I got 2 very late but well-deserving submissions on the West Coast, and we are now, thanks to a recent donation, only $400 short of funding those 2. So we could help 64 instead of 50. And so that's really exciting for me. I mean, for our committee also.
Post that link. Post that. Where's that link?
Oh, boy.
So that people can.
It's like a lot of dashes, so I'll post it. Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
Keep talking.
affiliate-in--by.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for that, I'm going to make the announcement for the Libertarian National Convention. There's only a couple of days left of super early bird pricing. If you go to lnc2022.com, you can buy tickets by clicking on register now here, register up here, or you can scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll get it there too.
So my grandson's nickname is Nugget. Is it any coincidence that our casino is also Nugget?
There you go. Look at that.
Buy him a onesie or something.
Absolutely. Will he still wear onesies by then? He'll be
he'll be like in the t-shirt.
And then we also have the Affiliate Support Fund. Growing our party at the grassroots level now provides support for the next batch of great candidates in 2021 and 2022. There you go. So you can make a donation. You can go to my.lp.org/contribute/affiliate-support-fund. And you can make your donation. I'm sure there's also a very easy way to find it on lp.org as well. So, yeah.
We just are short $400 to help 2 more affiliates. I'm sure more will come in, but right now those are the last 2 that we got in. So very exciting.
Go. And Laura, anything to wrap us up here?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Okay.
Nope.
Well, it is exactly 9 o'clock on the dot. We didn't run over at all tonight. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Michelle, thank you for being on the show. It has been a pleasure. I've had a lot of fun. I'm sure Valerie and Laura. Did you ladies have fun as well?
We had fun.
Of course, yes.
I appreciate being invited and be able to talk about the amazing things that are going on. And because you guys do the hard work on the board, I have the ability to do all the fun stuff.
You get to do all the fun stuff.
You do the hard work. You do the hard work, Michelle.
I don't know about that. You guys can keep the board. I'll keep over here.
And yet I'm running for vice chair. So, believe it or not, hey, I'm asking for more. So,
Eric, before we go, can you put the affiliate support link in the Chiron thing? Is that what it's called, the Chiron? Just.
Yeah. Hold on.
Thank you. Somebody just asked, what about the link? Because you read it. And it's like I said, there's so many dashes in it. When I leave people thank you messages, I'm like, affiliate support .
There you go, right there at the bottom there.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So on that note, everyone, thank you for watching. Have a great night. We'll see you next week when we have... Oh, next week is our 1-year anniversary show.
How fun.
And Dan Fishman will be the guest. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow.
Can you believe we've been on the air for a full year now?
What a fun show, though.
The good times just keep rolling, don't they?
I know, they do. Look at that. That's awesome. So, everyone, we will see you on our anniversary show next week where we'll have Dan Fishman. Michelle, thank you so much for being on. You've been a phenomenal guest.
Thank you.
And Valerie and Laura, I love hanging out with you every week, so thank you, too.
You bet.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks.